Hey everyone, it is Sarah
and Louie,
and today we are going to be talking about the top of mistakes that tourists make when coming to New York. Yeah, there's a lot to get through here because we're just trying to educate you, you know, in the best way possible.
Gotta have the best experience possible.
Exactly. So let's just get right into it. Number one, this one I come across all the time, and that is tipping. You know, it's pretty, I understand that the tipping culture in New York is a lot more than most countries. If you had a normal experience at a restaurant, normally it's around 20%. Would you agree with that?
Pretty expected. I mean, for okay service, you would do like 15%.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you're expected to do 20%.
Yes, and if you had a really bad experience, then you should just talk to the manager of the restaurant. Tipping less than 15% is kind of offensive.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because waiters here literally rely on tips for a living. They make below minimum wage. 20% is the norm. And if you're going to a bar, I would say like $1 per drink.
Per drink. If they're making you a cocktail, then yeah, I would say 20% is still expected.
Yeah, if they're
preparing something for you.
Right. And then for like tour guides, for example, that's another place that a lot of people don't tip, but it's more the standard. If you had a good experience on the tour, tipping your guide is very nice.
It's also usually
15%.
Yeah, 15 to 20 also.
Yeah.
I mean, they work hard like to actually get the information together for you and narrate it to you. So I'm totally done. I always tip our guides.
Yes, taxis. This one drives me crazy because when you're in a yellow taxi, the starting tip price is 20%. No.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous. It goes from 20% to like 35%. You should never be tipping a taxi 35%. I recommend instead like bringing it down to 10. I mean, it's not necessary to tip a taxi that much money.
Tip number 2, not dressing appropriately for the weather. Now, Sarah has talked a lot about this in her previous videos, but there is a big issue with people thinking that they could just dress up with a peacoat or like a nice sweater or something like that.
Yeah, for winter. Right. So winter, I think, is its own category here. I have a whole video on how to dress for winter. A lot of people do not dress warm enough because I don't think a lot of people realize how much you're outside and how much you're walking. I mean, in New York, you're outside. You can walk like 5 miles a day easily. And so you're outside that whole time. So make sure that you dress warmly for that. Layering is key.
Guys, don't try to be heroes. I do this myself. I'll go out with like a shirt and a sweater and like a really thin coat and I'm like, I'm fine. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not fine. I'm pretty cold. I don't get cold easily, but...
For shoes, you need something comfortable. There's a lot of nice, like Rothy's are the best shoes. I recommend Rothy's. They're fashionable and they're very comfortable.
For men, I would recommend boots usually. Any sort of style of like chuckaboo is pretty good. I like them. You can wear those. Those are really comfortable. They have like they're really insulating as well.
Yeah.
So in the dead of winter, they can be really helpful. Now in the summer, I would definitely something like a sneaker, nice, comfortable, but fashionable also. I have normally like really plain Adidas that I really like that are really nice and light and comfortable. So
one of the things that we New Yorkers can tell if you're not from New York is if you wear running shoes. I think it's so funny.
Are you running a 5K?
A lot of visitors wear running shoes, and I get that you want to be comfortable. I totally get that. But running shoes are not necessary. You can just wear like somewhat more fashion forward like sneakers.
Crocs maybe.
Yeah, Crocs?
No, just kidding.
You'll be kicked out of New York in like a minute. Taking a yellow cab from the airport and waiting in that line. This is so ridiculous. It's so easy to call an Uber or a Lyft when you're in the airport after you collect your bags. The yellow taxi line is so long and you can call like 5 Lyfts or 5 Ubers in the amount of time that it takes to get in this yellow taxi line.
Number 4, overspending on attractions or museums. You could definitely save a pretty penny if you just go on the days that are sometimes they're for free or sometimes they're like discounted prices. But if you really do your research, then you'll be able to find places that are a lot more affordable and places that you can get to for like a greater value.
Yeah, there's tons of museums that are free on certain days. I'll have them listed below. I also talk about these in my free things to do in New York video, so you can check that out. Now, a lot of people want to go to Broadway shows, and those are very expensive, but there's so many ways that you can save money on Broadway shows. I have a whole video on how to get budget tickets to Broadway shows, so you can check that out, and it's like severely discounted tickets to like some of the best shows on Broadway. It is. What?
The discount is so steep, it's severe.
Louis, it is severe.
Okay.
The point is, it's a good deal, okay? Number 5, staying in hotels. Biggest waste of money possible, in my opinion, honestly. You can stay in an Airbnb for like a quarter of the price. A hotel on average in New York is between $300 and $400. And an Airbnb, you can get a really good Airbnb that's like a nice location for as little as like $100 a night. And if you're in, that's cheap. That's like in Manhattan. But if you go like to Brooklyn or Queens, you can get Airbnbs for, I mean, we stayed in one that was $30 a night. It was terrifying. I don't recommend going there.
Oh,
I think the house collapsed afterwards.
Yeah, the house was literally like shifted this way.
Yes.
I'm surprised if people were even staying there.
That was, that was scary.
A little scary.
So don't go that low.
Yeah, no.
We have a link below where you can save $40 on your first Airbnb booking. And no, this is not an ad. It's just a way for you to save even more money on New York. So
I wish it was.
If you
so
do,
then we'd be getting paid a lot.
Yeah, that would be cool. Thanks.
Number 6, very important. Everyone does it. Restrooms, right? So the most important thing to really keep in mind is literally like don't touch anything because you don't know what people have been doing in there. So for restrooms, you want to just use a hotel bathroom. Usually they won't deny you. Just kind of walk in really confidently.
Yeah, and just
Nobody
say,
really
where's
say
your
anything.
lobby bathroom? And they literally have never
Nobody
ever
cares.
denied either of us.
No.
And they're
honestly,
nice.
Just walk in. If I know where it's
they're
at,
nice.
just walk in, use the restroom, don't make a mess, you're good.
Yeah, because Starbucks has really gone downhill. I recommended their bathrooms in a few videos back. No, disgusting. Sorry, Starbucks. But if you would like to always know where the nearest bathroom is, there's an app called Sit or Squat, and it's called Sit or Squat because like it tells you like if the bathroom's really gross, like and you're desperate, like that's like a squat situation. But if it's like a good bathroom, then it's sit, and it will show you on the app like the green toilet paper rolls are like good bathrooms, and then the red toilet paper rolls are like you're like having a bad situation that day, and you're just desperate to use the bathroom. So download the app if you're the type of person that like you know what I mean.
Sure.
Number 7, eating at chain restaurants. Please, we are in New York City. We have so many great restaurants here, many Michelin-starred restaurants.
Yeah.
Please don't eat at Applebee's or Olive Garden or McDonald's or KFC or any of that. If you have never been to like one of the typical like U.S. chain restaurants and you're coming international and you want to go to McDonald's or you want to go to Burger King or whatever, I get that. But don't focus your whole trip on those.
Right.
Go instead to one of the incredible restaurants we have here. What's one of your favorites?
The burger.
Oh yeah, the burger is good.
It's like really, it's not like humongous either, but they really pay close attention to the quality of your meals. Tip number 8, the Empire State Building is like very iconic. However, it can be very crowded and your view isn't as great as Top of the Rock. So we recommend Top of the Rock.
Well, everyone's always like, how could you say not to go to the Empire State Building? I get this comment all the time. Just trust me on this one. If you are coming to New York, it's like, yes, the Empire State Building is iconic. You're going to see it from Top of the Rock. You're going to see it from all over the entire city. But it's not worth visiting because it's the exact same experience as Top of the Rock, except Top of the Rock has a way, way better view. So number 9, taking a bus tour. Please do not take a bus tour. New York City is a walkable city. So buses, the traffic's crazy. And when you do like these city sightseeing bus tours, it's such like a vague overview of everything. You don't really get to like learn that much. It's just better to like walk the city, take some tours, and it will just be much more intimate and personal and like a very nice like fun way to see the city, not a bus tour where you're going to be stuck in traffic most of the time and like moved around like cattle.
Also, driving through Times Square is like, it's a nightmare. Tip number 10 is traveling during rush hour. I mean, especially in cars, guys. And we just mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Don't be in a car in Times Square. Okay, if you do need to get somewhere, though, we would recommend using the subway, especially if you're just going to go like within the city. If you're going to go really large or long distances, then sure, maybe like hire a car or use a taxi. But definitely always try to use the subway. When you enter the subway, make sure your subway card's always ready to swipe. You go in, you're not in the way of nobody, which is one of my biggest pet peeves, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, use the subway.
Yeah, so rush hours generally between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. and then starts like 5 p.m. till I would say 8 p.m. That's when it's most crazy. So if you can avoid using a taxi or like a Lyft or anything at that time and instead take the subway, do that. The subway will be very crowded, but it's just part of the deal, you know. Number 11, calling the subway things other than the subway. It's not called the metro, it's not called the tube, it's not called the underground, we call it the subway, so make sure that you call it the subway. Got it? Awesome.
Number 12, saying Houston Street.
Yeah.
Pronounced Houston.
Yeah. If you say, where's Houston Street, we know that you're not from here, so if you want to like trick us and make us think that you're a New Yorker, call it Houston Street.
Right. Like, what's the best restaurant on Houston Street?
Yes. Which brings me to number 13. I made a whole video on what not to do in New York. So watch that video because it covers even more things on what not to do in New York. And I don't want to repeat everything, but the Houston thing was one of the things in that video.
Number 14, not bringing enough power for your devices. I mean, it's where your maps are, your phone, your camera. Right.
Sorry about all the construction, by the way. That's what happens when you film outside in a market in Africa.
So we suggest something like this. It's a chargeable phone case.
Yes, I use this chargeable phone case everywhere, and especially in New York because you're using so much of your phone's battery that it will die so quickly. And finding usable outlets to charge your phone is actually surprisingly difficult.
Yeah.
So I recommend either bringing an external battery in your bag that you can charge your phone with when it runs out, or just getting this chargeable case. I'll link mine below because it's fantastic. I get 2 full charges in addition to the charge on my phone. It's amazing. I cannot live without it.
You could also charge it wirelessly.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Thank you. Whoop.
Wow.
It'll be a little slower, but you can still
That's why
recharge it
you
that
do
way.
all the tech stuff. I don't know all that stuff.
Technology. Going to Little Italy for an authentic Italian meal, right? Actually, the new Little Italy is in Arthur Avenue in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So you could head up that way and grab some really, really good snacks.
Yeah, Little Italy has become very, very touristy. So if you want like a more...
It's actually getting smaller and smaller.
It is.
Yeah.
It's only about 3 blocks in length now. So if you want a more like authentic Italian food experience, go to Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. Number 16, trying to see the whole city in a day. It's literally impossible. I wish it was possible. It's not. Just be ready. Like, New York is one of those trips that you need to take multiple times to really see everything.
A few days.
So you're not going to see it all, and that's fine. That's fine. You can come back again.
Yeah.
Number 17, only staying in Midtown Manhattan and not going to other boroughs. There is so much more to see in Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens.
Right.
But yes, Manhattan has all of the iconic sites, but the real like local experience you're going to get in Queens, in Brooklyn, in Bronx.
And it's really amazing how much they vary in culture. It's almost as if you stepped into like a different country.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Like for real.
Yeah, so explore other boroughs. I have neighborhood guides for Dumbo, Williamsburg, Long Island City. Those are in Queens and Brooklyn, and I'm making more and more, so that will give you some more information on what to do there.
Number 18, thinking that New Yorkers are mean. That's not really true. I've actually had multiple people tell me that New Yorkers are actually very nice people.
Yeah.
The thing is that, like, very fast paced. We don't like to waste time.
We don't.
If you have a question, ask it. We'll answer it.
Yeah.
Be on your way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and not even trying to do it like in a mean way.
Yeah.
You know, but it's true though. No time wasted.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get that concept that we're mean through the movies that were made in the 70s and the 80s portraying New York, because back in the 70s and 80s, like, it was definitely like a more dangerous city. New York is very safe now. So it's not mean. We're not mean. We're nice. If you need directions, ask us. We're good to go.
Yeah. All right, number 19. This is like my overall pet peeve of me. Okay, like stopping in the middle of the street to do anything, take a picture, just look around, look at your phone, is like the worst thing you can, okay, in my mind, the worst thing you can do, okay? It drives me nuts. And that's why when I go places, and I go to new countries, I always try my best to not be in the way. Because when people get in my way, or when you get in the way of someone, oh my god, guys.
If you want
like,
to annoy Louis, do this.
Yeah, my blood pressure probably like shoots up who knows how many points. Like, it goes through the roof. And I don't understand why people do this. So please, in a very kind way, try to get out the way. You know, go near like a sidewalk or go right near a wall, but just make sure the path is always clear. Otherwise, oh my god, that's like the worst.
I think they get it, Louis.
No, they're not. Well, I'm not done, sir. Because the thing is that people are walking, and you get right in that rhythm. Bro, come on.
If you stop to suddenly take a picture, everyone's like...
Yeah, everyone's rhythm is thrown off, and whose fault is it? All right,
so don't do that, because Louis will literally jump off the Brooklyn Bridge.
I will come out of like my apartment and go yell at you. I will find you, and I will tell you.
All right, let's move on to number 20.
Finally.
Not making eye contact with the characters dressed up as fake Spider-Man, fake Elsa, fake Mickey Mouse in Times Square. These people are so aggressive. If you're taking a picture, like me and Lou are like, yeah, taking a picture. Next thing you know, they all jump in the back of your picture and then demand $5. Or if you are just walking through Times Square, like, and you make eye contact with them, they'll just be like, oh, let's take a picture, let's take a picture. In fact, really anyone making eye contact with anyone in Times Square is a bad idea because there's just so many tourist traps there.
Yeah.
I have 2 videos on tourist traps in New York. Watch them, learn, don't make those mistakes. Let's continue this one.
Number 21 is taking a horse carriage in Central Park. Don't do it. Honestly, it's like very overpriced.
Yeah.
In some cases, the horses don't rest for a long time and they're not treated very well. So we would recommend just, maybe do another activity, bike riding, something else.
Yeah, it's just the animals aren't treated very well and it's such a short ride. I think they charge like $60 just to get on it and then you ride for like maybe 10 minutes or something like that, right?
They charge you per minute.
And then they charge you per minute, like $1,
No,
$6.
No, it's a lot.
Oh, it's like $10?
I think it's more than that. It's like something crazy.
It's crazy.
You'll see for yourself.
Just pass on that one. We're just going to move to 22 because that's the last one. And that is assuming that things close early and then planning your day around that. The thing that I love the most about New York is that things never close. I mean, the stores in Times Square will stay open until 1 a.m. You can literally go to H&M at 1 in the morning.
Yeah,
I think one of them closes at like 3 a.m. So if you are a night owl, this is the place for you. So you can do things whenever you want. It's pretty awesome. After all, it is the city that never sleeps.
That's right.
So that's our list. I hope that helps. Have you guys made any of these mistakes? If so, comment below. If you have other mistakes that you want to add that you find that you made, or if you're local and you found that friends of yours that are visiting made, comment them below because we'd love to hear them. We kind of thought of these things together. And I think we covered most things, but there's always more mistakes you can make.
Especially being in the way of people.
Okay, relax. They get it. Don't do that one. I think Louis will come after you. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Adios.